Hey, everybody. Aleia McDonald.
Riley Derwick.
We are here with Advanced Wealth Strategies. And guess what the spotlight is for the month of April? Us. Can you believe it? It is Financial Literacy Month.
Hmm.
So there's so many topics we could cover, but we definitely felt like with financial literacy, we would want to give you a few minutes of things that we commonly hear with our clients.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things we really often will hear from our clients is how do we teach our kids about money? They're happy that they get to speak with us. We pride ourselves in trying to educate
Yeah.
clients, right, Leah? We usually draw it up on the whiteboards, but then families want to know how can I teach the kids and set them up for success?
Sure.
And I know one of the ways that I know you've been working with your child is there's a spend, save, give. So teaching children the fundamentals of spending some of their funds. You have to
hmm
have fun now. You have to enjoy your life, have
hmm
lifestyle. Have to save for later so that you can do things later,
Yep.
like retirement. Maybe it's home. And then, of course, giving.
Buy an Xbox. I think a
Maybe
lot of
it's buy
kids.
an Xbox. Yeah, I don't know if kids are looking to buy a home yet, but maybe buy an Xbox.
Yeah. And we have a little tool that we've been trying to recently give to some of our clients that have children, but you can get variations of these on Amazon or wherever you shop, but giving them a visual aid of like where their money is going. And I
Hmm.
know one of the things I do is charge Makai when we have a birthday party to go to, and it's helping him better understand like what things cost. So in his give, that's where he can give to others. So if it's like his parents' birthday or like he's going to a birthday party, what I'll do is share the cost. So he goes on to Amazon or wherever, we go to the store and he picks out the item that he wants to give, but it makes him cost conscious because he has to pay half of it.
Yeah.
So he's changed gift
Oh, yeah.
ideas because he's like, oh, that one's this much and it's going to cost me
Hmm.
this much. And he also has to look at how much money he has to
Yeah.
spend on those things. So I want him to be able to feel good. So spend is for him, save is for the future, and then give is going to be giving on to others. And so when we've done charitable things, he's done that as well. So it's a nice, easy way.
Yep. And that's great because it assigns a value to those dollars. They
Mhm.
don't just grow on trees, right?
Right.
One of the other things that you can do as the kids start to get older is start budget planning or desired spending sheet is how we work with our clients. You
Yep.
have to direct your dollars where you desire. And the key there is with the desired spending sheet, you can start to go with rules of thumb. 50, 30, 20 is one really great place to start with kids, especially the younger adults. Maybe they're 16, 17, transitioning into school.
Where can people get more information on that 50?
One of the best sites for me personally that I like to use is called NerdWallet. There's a bunch of tabs right up top. Anything you want to learn about from a really basic personal finance subject is there. They also have a great template for that budget.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Hmm.
I know a lot of your clients are in that space of like just starting their families, so they have younger kids. So having that, I know we review financial statements with
Yeah.
Makai too. So with his 529, showing him how much he has, how much we put in, what it's grown
Yeah.
to, helping him better understand kind of the power of money.
One of the things I like that you mentioned about Kai, when you pay him his allowance, he will change what he wants to buy based on what he has
Yeah.
saved. One thing that parents can be doing for their children when they're younger is actually adding them as an authorized user on their credit card and
hmm
building their credit history, setting them up for that future success for auto loans, maybe
Yeah.
mortgages, even student loans, right? The key is that you have to check with your credit card company if there's a minimum age. I know Amex or American Express is popular, Chase is age 13, Amex is around age 15. But that's one really great way if you're responsible with your credit, and hopefully you are because you're
Because you
speaking with
can
us.
hurt them
Yes,
with this too. So what's the caveat on that, Riley? Because
mhm,
there's always like something, right? So what's the
always.
caveat?
Caveat is if you are in good credit order and you're diligent about paying those cards, making sure that you yourself are responsible with credit use, it can be a great option to add the children because it's going to basically mirror your credit history when they turn 18.
So if I don't pay my bill off and I'm, generating late fees, if I have too high of a spending limit, which 30% is
Yep.
kind of that spending
Yep.
limit. So meaning like if I my limit's 10,000, I never really want my balance to be over 3,000, even
Yeah,
if I pay
absolutely.
it off. Those are things that can then end up accidentally hurting the child
Yeah.
too. So you have to be very cautious of this. And so if you're trying to build your teenager's credit, if you have a card that you don't often use, or you just have a card that you put like the systematic Netflix or
Hmm.
Disney Plus or whatever on there that gets paid off every month, that it would be a good
Yep.
credit
Yep.
card to
Yep.
use.
And you can even, like you do with Kai, have them actively be paying, like on the purchases that they want to make for themselves,
Yeah.
pay the card back.
I get some funny looks at the stores where I'm like, well, you're gonna have to pay me $8 for that moon ball. You know where that moon ball is now? Who knows? It's just,
Probably sold it for the next toy, right? At least he sold it.
yeah, and another cool way to get rid of toys is to have your child go through their toys and you can sell them. And so sometimes we actually do sell them, and sometimes selling them is giving them away or putting them in the trash and then just giving him money and being like, oh, you made this much money and now you get to choose where to put it. Give, spend, save. He can put it in any space that he wants. I have two rules that he can spend it on whatever he wants as long as it's appropriate and as long as he has the money for it. So, he's gotten upset because he doesn't know the right amount of, well, are there any toys you want to sell? And so it's a great way to
It's
clean
great exercise.
closets out and to really have him minimize the junk that we get too. No offense to anyone who buys him anything, but like over time, it's just like you miss the pieces, all the things, they're not playing with it anymore. I know we recently gave away a whole bin of Lego stuff, and it broke my husband's heart to do that because he loves the Legos, but no one was playing with them. And so what are we doing with this? This is silly. And so I made some money off of that too.
Follow Leah for toys on Facebook. You're donating to a good cause. Young kids' next toy.
It's so true. One of the things I often hear in kind of that sandwich generation too, with working with some of my clients or our clients is okay, so I may or may not have children, and these are the tools for that. But like, what about my parents? So I'm the trustee of their trust, or I'm their executor, or they don't have their estate plan done. Like, what do I do to help with financial literacy as it relates to the generation above me, not necessarily the generation below me? And so there are some tips out there that I definitely recommend. There's a good checklist on Get Careful with two L's at the end, not one, getcareful.com. They actually will update you on like recent scams that are going on right now, and the different frauds that are happening. So that's a nice resource to be able to go to. But reviewing what they have is a great first start. So like, what are the assets? What are the income sources that they have? If you think about the process that you take with us, it's kind of like doing the same thing with them, except for you're not developing a financial plan. You're saying, where's the money at? Where's the money coming from? Where do you have money? What are your expenses? So like, let's say in the event of unable to make their own financial decisions, or what's the plan for that? And so this could be the start of the conversation, is like, okay, if I potentially can't make the decisions myself, what are where would I go, mom and dad, to like find out where you're getting your money from or pay your bills to make sure everything goes okay? So how would you access those accounts? How do you know, are they using a password keeper? Do they have a book with all the passwords? If you're the durable power of attorney, have those institutions been given a copy to know that you become the power of attorney?
I've even seen Facebook credentials in the newer age, right?
Yeah.
Making sure that is the Facebook taken down or not getting posts sent to it.
Well, and also that gives way to like estate planning being done. Typically most people need their estate plan done. So in more recent estate plans, you'll see that like having access to internet is part of the planning. So if you parents have older estate plans, maybe it's revisiting that and ensuring that they have the most up to date to help you with the new way that things are stored. And you ought to have copies. Anything that you are on, if you are listed as something, you better have copies for it. You need to know what your responsibilities are. And so having that conversation that just says, hey, mom and dad, like as you get older, I start thinking about the fact that like someday you might want me to take over some things for you. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about like what you would want from me? And would you mind giving me more insight on like what you currently have going on? I know it's harder with older generations sometimes to like talk about this. I get it. I know that we have done some kind of mediation between family members of just saying like coming from our point, and we've had multi-generational meetings where we can step in and kind of facilitate some of those conversations in a very gentle approach way. So lean into us too, if that's something that you feel like you would benefit from, or lean into whoever their financial contact is, or their trusted advisors, like their attorney, their CPA, their financial
Yep.
advisor. Doesn't have to be us helping on your end, but it could be just whoever they trust. Just start getting involved with them.
Yeah.
So that would be my recommendation,
Yeah.
is taking care of the generation above.
And at the end of the day, we care about the people that you care about.
Yeah.
And if you can talk with them and get those answers, great. If you need us, kids or adults, right?
Yeah.
We're happy to be a sounding board. Yeah. So happy Financial Literacy Month.
Hope you enjoyed today's session. And if you have things that you'd like to learn more on, please reach out to us. We're happy to help. Take care.